6 factors we talk about are learning and relationships and expectations, alignment, improvement, and leadership. And it's hard to pick any one because I think there's somewhat of an integrated set. But based on my own work and my own interests, I would pick learning first, because I think fundamentally the undergraduate experience is about students learning as much as they can, and institutions actually focusing on that. I think often institutions get distracted and focus on lots of different things. They focus, even on important things like retention and persistence and things like this. It's important that our students are successful and stay at our institutions, but it's more important that they learn things while they stay at our institutions. In the States, that can be a distraction. The second factor I would say that is key to focus on is improvement. The idea that we can always do better in what we're doing, and we can always support our students in learning more. In fact, improvement is really just another way of saying learning. And how do we learn as individuals in our work? How do we learn in our programs and in our institutions so that we can offer the best student experience possible? Learning results from what the student does and thinks, and only from what the student does and thinks. What teachers can do to advance learning is influence what students do. I think any excellent student experience involves students at the heart of that experience. And so I think, obviously, students need to be partners. The funny part to me about the partnership framework is it's as if we, the faculty and staff, are inviting students to be our partners, when in fact, they're the actors, and we're the partners in supporting them and acting with them. And we need to think that way. We need to see that they're the central actors in this drama, and we need to help them see themselves that way. In the States, at least, one of the challenges is students come out of high school often, out of secondary school, with fairly passive habits and practices of learning, where they go into class and they take what the professor gives them and they give it back unharmed, and they think they've learned. And we need to help them see that it's their curiosity and their action that's driving this. And so how can they learn as much as possible? How can they develop as much as possible? And we, the faculty, staff, institution, need to be the partners with them in that work. This is something we do together. It's what we do with our students. It's what we do across our programs. It's what we do across our institutions. So the research from the US on improvement and leadership is that if you can be positively restless, if you can work in partnership, you can be successful. I think that the idea there is focusing on what's central and seeing students as the actors in this work. I think in postgraduate, even more than in the talk I gave today, relationships are key. Postgraduate work often is more intimate than undergraduate research or undergraduate education. And so how do you develop the most meaningful relationships, the most educationally purposeful relationships in postgraduate education? I think that's key. Students spend relatively little time with us, quite a lot of time with their peers and doing other things. And so how do we make that other time even more powerful? Students spend a lot of time when they're at university, not in our courses and not in our modules, but actually working and doing other things. And how do we help students make that work experience educationally purposeful? And so in Iowa Grow, there's a simple interview technique. It's 4 questions that periodically some staff or faculty member sits down with the students and asks them to connect what they're doing in their work with what they're studying, connect their studies with what they're doing at work, and connect all of that to what they hope to do afterwards. And the research on Iowa Grow is it's a simple, small intervention, but it leads to powerful outcomes for students. So one thing I'd think about is how could Scottish universities connect the student experiences that students are having outside of the curriculum with the experience that they have in the curriculum. Something like the Iowa Grow program is a good example. Peers are the most powerful influence of student behavior at university, at least in the United States. Faculty and staff are very powerful, right? And so the relationships we have, the relationships we form, drive motivation, drive behavior, drive learning, or the opposite. I'm a historian, so I think everything is context specific, but I think there are some things that are in common. I think we know quite a lot about how learning works, and learning in general is similar for all humans, and so it requires challenge and effort and feedback and things like this. And so I think there's common things we can learn. I think we should take advantage of place also in a way that sometimes in internationalization and in the technology-obsessed higher education, we can forget that students are studying in Glasgow or they're studying in Elon, North Carolina, and that place offers them a rich set of contexts, a rich set of history, a rich set of communities that they can work with, learn from, and we should take advantage of those things. So I think there are some universals in learning and in higher education, but I think the context and the local really makes education even more powerful.